If we look at what we've covered here in this first module, we've talked about platform as a service being that platform fabric where I'm not dealing with infrastructure, but I'm not necessarily working with finished software either. I'm working with a place where I can build software using a set of provided services that I can then build on top of, but avoid writing plumbing code. I don't have to build identity frameworks. I don't have to build a logging mechanism. All that stuff's built in there. Salesforce.com and Force.com are obviously very well related, but they're a little different. Salesforce being the product, Force.com being the platform. We looked at a lot of key concepts around multi-tenancy and security and that sort of thing to help you understand how Force.com maybe differs from some other frameworks you've come across. We discussed all those primary service things like database and workflow and user interface and integration and all those sorts of things that give you so much out of the box with Force and let you jump right into building your app versus having to build a full-text search engine. Hey, that's already provided. Or figuring out which UI framework to use. That's already there for you. So there's a lot of those great services that we're going to be building upon. I compared Force.com to some other platforms as a service offerings. You really got full ends of the spectrum. Something like Force.com, which is extremely abstracted away from infrastructure, to something like Amazon Web Services, where you are pretty much close to bare bones on infrastructure with a little bit of some wrapping around it to make it maybe look a little more platform-like. And that's on purpose, but each one has different target applications and scenarios. So there are those cases where you should choose Force.com for very data-driven workflow, reporting sort of transactional apps. Makes a ton of sense. Wouldn't choose it for some sort of high CPU, irregular data load app. Doesn't make sense for that. We talked about creating an account, and we actually did that, hopefully together if you followed the exercise, and also building a sample application. That's the one we're going to be using throughout this course. So hopefully you already set that up when we did that together. And then we're going to be building upon that. Very easy to build applications. They make for good containers in the Force.com environment. You don't want to just extend the existing Force.com app. You want to build your own application that you can manage. Then we talked about the course scenario, where we'll build hopefully a fully working scenario that at least flexes somewhat superficially what a complete app would look like. And we'll follow that same scenario through every module in the course. Finally, I pointed out some developer resources. Inevitably, you'll probably leave this course wanting a little more, since we're not going to go crazy in depth on every topic. So use those developer resources to focus in on one area that makes a lot of sense, whether it be the API and integration, or writing Apex code and custom coding, feeling the freedom to jump into that. Hope you enjoyed this first module that helped us set up the platform and how it all works and how it's all going to tie together. The next module, we're going to look at the database and look at how do we build data objects, how do we add new fields and set up relationships and query the database. Should be a lot of fun.